Have you ever heard a story? It sounded too strange to be true. But then you learned more. You wondered more. What if? Today we dive into a tale like that. It's about famous knights. It's about hidden treasure. It's about secrets. These secrets could change everything. We think we know the past. Most people know the Knights Templar. They were brave warrior monks. They protected people. People were traveling to the Holy Land. They went to Jerusalem. This was a long, long time ago. The story usually ends sadly. They were betrayed. They were called bad names. Their group was broken up. But what if that's not the whole story? What if there's another story? It's a secret one. It's full of mystery. It has amazing discoveries. It has a treasure so powerful. This treasure could change the world. The Templars were indeed in Jerusalem. They did protect travelers, but some say that was just their cover. Their real mission was secret. It was to find something hidden there. Something very old was hidden. Something very powerful was hidden. It was ancient technology. So they set up camp in Jerusalem. It was right where an old temple once stood. Then they started to dig. The Templar group officially started around 1118, but their idea might have begun earlier. It began in a city called Constantinople. This city is now Istanbul in Turkey. There was a secret group there. They were called the Brothers of the East. These brothers knew a lot. They knew about old magic. They knew about strange science. They knew about stars. They knew about special numbers. A French nobleman was named Hugues de Payens. He would later found the Templars. He heard about these brothers. He was told they guarded ancient knowledge. So he went to meet them. Europe back then was a mess of wars. But these brothers of the East were peaceful. They told Hugues de Payens an amazing story. It wasn't just any story. It was of a lost civilization. The civilization was from thousands of years ago. These ancient people were very wise. They were very good. They had no poverty. They didn't care much about money. They knew how to grow so much food. Everyone was fed. They could even control the weather. They could talk to each other instantly. This was over long distances. They could lift huge stones with their minds. They had medicines. These medicines could cure any sickness. They mostly wanted to learn spiritual things. But then they disappeared. How could such amazing people just vanish? Hugues de Payens asked. The brothers told him. In one day the earth shook. Volcanoes exploded. A giant flood covered everything. That's when Hugues de Payens and his friends heard the name. The name was Atlantis. De Payens knew old stories about Atlantis. These were from the Greek writer Plato, but he thought they were just myths. The brothers said Plato was mostly right. Atlantis wasn't just one island. It was all over the world. Its cities were connected by amazing travel machines. They also said some tools from Atlantis still existed. Some machines from Atlantis still existed. These things had incredible power. Power to travel far. Power to talk across the world. Power to heal. Maybe even power to live forever. If anyone found these things, they would be most powerful. They would be the most dangerous objects on Earth. De Payens knew any king would want that power. Any country would want that power. The brothers agreed. This Atlantis technology had to be kept safe. So they gave Hugues de Payens a job. Find these ancient things. Bring them to Europe. Keep them hidden and safe. He and his friends agreed right away. Where should they look? The brothers told them. Look under King Solomon's old temple. This was in Jerusalem. So when the Templars got to Jerusalem, that's what they did. While some knights stood guard, others dug. They dug deep under the ground. They dug day and night. And one day they found it. They found gold, yes, but they found much more. They found a big, beautiful box. It was made of special wood and gold. They knew it was the famous Ark of the Covenant. This was from Bible stories. And then they found 5 more. They were just like it. Year after year, they pulled amazing things from under Jerusalem. A spear called the Spear of Destiny, the legendary Holy Grail, a mysterious green stone tablet. It was called the Emerald Tablet. Stacks of old books. These were full of secret wisdom. They learned there were supposed to be 10 arks, though they only found 6. These arks, they believed, worked with pyramids. These pyramids were around the world. They worked to create free, limitless energy. This was like what Nikola Tesla tried later. They even thought the king's chamber in the Great Pyramid wasn't for a mummy. It was the perfect size to hold one of these arks. What powered the ark? In the Bible, manna was like magic food from the sky. But the Templars learned something else. The people of Atlantis knew how to make manna. Later, the Israelites knew how to make manna. It was a special white powder. It was made from plants and animals. It was sometimes made from gold. This manna powder was like a super battery. It could power the ark. The arks inside pyramids could give energy to whole cities. This manna could also make things float. This might explain how giant stones were moved. These stones built ancient wonders. The Ark of the Covenant itself was heavy. It was made of gold and stone, yet only a few men carried it. Maybe manna helped. They also found very old writings. These writings talked about beings not from Earth. These beings were called the Anunnaki. These stories said the Anunnaki came here long ago. They came to mine gold. They even changed early humans to help them. This was another layer of secret knowledge. The Templars uncovered it. The Templar cross symbol is a red cross on white. They say it was the symbol of Atlantis. After the Great Flood destroyed Atlantis, survivors spread out. This cross was a way to remember their lost home. But not everything they found was about Atlantis. Some things were from the time of Jesus. They found old writings. These mostly agreed with the Bible, but some parts were very different. They were very shocking. They couldn't let the church find out. If this truth got out, it could cause huge problems. The most shocking thing? A box of bones. Not just any bones. They believed they found the bones of Mary Magdalene. They found bones of John the Baptist. They found bones of Jesus himself. But even more surprisingly, they thought they found other bones. Children Mary had with both Jesus and John. This was beyond just different. This could destroy the church as people knew it. They had to keep these treasures incredibly safe. They had to keep these secrets incredibly safe. This was especially from the Pope. They also found ideas very different from church teachings. Ideas like a divine feminine power. Ideas that people are reborn after they die. This is reincarnation. Ideas that heaven is something you find inside yourself. They believed you could connect to God directly. You didn't need priests. You didn't need a big church. This belief is sometimes called Gnosticism. Gnosticism means knowing. They thought John the Baptist taught these ideas to Jesus. The Templars wanted to share all this amazing knowledge, but they knew the world wasn't ready. The church was too powerful, so they waited. They returned to Europe with their treasures. They returned with their secret knowledge. They hid it all very carefully. Then they built a huge organization. For 200 years, they became incredibly rich. They became incredibly powerful. They even started the first international banking system. People could leave money with Templars in one city. They would get a special note. Then they could use that note to get money back elsewhere. This was in another city far away. The Templars charged a small fee. Those fees added up. They had their own armies. They had their own ships. They were like a giant company. They were so powerful. Even kings borrowed money from them. But being too rich and powerful can be dangerous. The King of France, Philip Rovi, owed Templars money. He decided it would be easier to take their wealth. This was instead of paying them back. He saw the Templars as a threat. So King Philip got the Pope, Clement V, to help. The Pope was a friend of the king. On a day famous for bad luck, Friday the 13th, 1307, many Templars were arrested. This included their leader, Jacques de Molay. They were tortured. They were forced to say they did bad things. Then they were told they were guilty. They were told they would be killed. Now there's a twist. Much later, a secret paper was found in the Vatican. It was called the Chinon Parchment. It seems the Pope actually said Templar leaders were not guilty. They were not guilty of the worst charges. They could rejoin the church. But King Philip wanted them gone. He pressured the Pope. The Pope officially broke up the Templar order. Jacques de Molay and other leaders were burned. They were burned at the stake. As he was dying, de Molay is said to have cursed them. He cursed the king and the Pope. He said they would both be dead within a year. And strangely enough, they both died soon after. But did the Templars really end? Not completely. They knew the arrests were coming. The night before, their entire fleet of ships sailed away. These ships were filled with ancient treasures. They were filled with secret documents. They sailed into the darkness. They disappeared. Templars who escaped formed new, smaller groups. Some say they became the Freemasons in Scotland. Some say they became the Knights of Christ in Portugal. Their mission didn't end. It just went deeper into hiding. Evidence of them, or their secrets, is said to be all over. This is all over the world. In Scotland, there's Rosslyn Chapel. It's a strange and beautiful building. It's covered in weird carvings. There are carvings of corn and aloe vera. These are plants from America. But Rosslyn Chapel was built almost 50 years before Columbus. This was before Columbus sailed to America. How did they know about those plants? Some say a Templar named Sir Henry Sinclair sailed to America. This was long before Columbus. Even Christopher Columbus might have had Templar connections. His ships flew flags with the Templar cross on them. There are old stones in America with Viking writing. This was from a time also before Columbus. And some say the first Vikings had Templar connections. The number 8 is also very important in Templar symbols. It's like the 8-pointed Maltese cross. They say the Great Pyramid in Egypt has 8 sides, not 4. They say this number means something special. So, why did they hide all this? The Templars, it said, had a big goal. Their goal was to make the world a better place. They knew their discoveries would shock people, but they never meant for knowledge to stay hidden forever. Some people today claim to be part of modern Templar group. They say these ancient treasures are still hidden. The arcs are hidden. The powerful technology is hidden. The secret knowledge is hidden. They are hidden in secret vaults around the world. They say the world is almost ready. It's ready for these secrets to be revealed. Imagine if it's true. Imagine if we could have free energy for everyone. Imagine if we had ancient wisdom. This wisdom could help us live healthier. It could help us live more peaceful lives. It would be a revolution. No more poverty. No more war. This would be if everyone had what they needed. It sounds like a dream. And maybe it is. Or maybe, just maybe, the key to a much better future is hidden. It's waiting to be found. It's a legacy left behind by those mysterious knights. What do you think?